Hi there, I'm April Sawtell and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be working on quilt block number 2 for the quilt block challenge. I'm going to be doing Jackie Lou's Junk Gal 63 Studio Quilt As You Go Stars and Stripe Quilt Block Challenge. She puts out a video every Sunday with a new Quilt As You Go quilt block. Last week I did the Stars and Stripes quilt block number 1 and it was the Star Point block. That was the first time I've ever followed a pattern from start to finish. I'm going to link the video below so you can go ahead and watch that. I'm super excited for today's video. It looks more my speed. I really challenged myself last week, but I'm very happy to say my block came out great. It took me a few tries. It was a success. One thing I did find out, if any of you watched that video, why I wasn't coming out to the right size, it was because of a very simple thing. Jackie Lou sent me a template to do a 12¼ inch or a 12½ inch. And I wasn't quite sure what that was going to be about. Also had told me to adjust the size to the actual size. I didn't do that. No matter what I was going to be able to do, I was never going to get it to the size. I wanted it to finish at a 12-inch block after all trimmed up, and I just couldn't do it. So remember, I added the borders around each side. I did end up making a 4th block, to be honest. I made a 4th block and it came out great. I used her 12½ inch pattern that she had sent me. When you take her pattern, if you just adjust to size, you'll have no problems. I just failed to do that step, so I had to do trial and error. It finally came out and boy was I happy. So today's block number 2, I'm going to take you along with me. I'm going to give you the basics. I'm going to direct you to go watch Jackie Lou's Junk Gal 63 Studio video for block number 2. You'll get full-blown step-by-step instructions. I'm going to leave some things out. I'm just here. She's just teaching me how to do this, and I'm having a ball. Thought I would take you guys along with me during this process. If you're a beginner quilter or you've never followed patterns, I'm not a beginner quilter, but I am a very basic quilter, and I've never followed a pattern, not from start to finish. I never get very far with patterns, so I promised myself to do this challenge and that I would follow her instructions, and that's what I'm going to do. I'll tell you what you're going to need and come along and let's have some fun. I'm going to be making 20 12x12 Quilt As You Go quilt blocks. I'm going to have this all wrapped up by the 4th of July. That'll be America's 250th anniversary. So that's why she's doing this challenge. Her only rules, red, white, and blue. This is a free quilt pattern. You can see here I colored in with marker my blocks because I only have a black and white printer. So make note of that. If you only have a black and white printer, just use some markers or some crayons and you can color your blocks right in. But last week, I'm going to tell you, I learned a lot. I learned a lot about following patterns step by step and where I have problems. So today, again, I'm going to stick right with this and I'm going to try to follow her step by step, every step of the way. That way I don't go off astray. That's where I always go wrong. When I'm reading the pattern, it's kind of like I've described this as reading music. And for some reason, it's very hard for me to understand. So if you're like me, her video has been super, super helpful. And that's what I'm going to do. Focus and take every step that she does, and that's how I'm going to do it. On these instructions, she does not give the actual pattern. You have to watch her video to get that. She'll take you step by step through every process. This will be just your guide, and this is your cutting guide, okay? So go check her out. All right, let's get started. To make one quilt block, you'll need 6 red, 6 blue, and you're gonna need 8 whites. Those are gonna be cut to 6½ inches by 1 3/4 inches. Also gonna need a 12x12 piece of batten, and we'll need a 12x12 piece of backing. I've got my little design board here, doing just as she did. She went blue, white, blue, white, blue. She said, now let's move over to the next block. So we'll go, she said, go ahead and stack them right on top of each other. Red, white, red, white, red, just as we're gonna sew them. And then we'll go over here, red, white, red, white, red. And then blue, white, white, and blue. All right, next step. I'm gonna play her every once in a while. That's why I'm doing this. Go step by step. So now all I'm gonna do is sew my 4 patches. I'm gonna chain piece them, and I'm gonna do one color at a time, just as they're in the order. So grab your piece, blue, white, you'll put right sides together. And we're gonna sew at 1/4 inch all the way down. And we're gonna do this to all of the blocks. Now that step's done. Now she says that we need to press these. On this one, the seams want to come in. So she says just push those out so they fall to the dark side. And then just open up all those seams. She said sometimes it doesn't lay where you want it to go. So you just have to maneuver it a little like I did. So I'm gonna sew these 2 together, and then I'm gonna sew these 2 together. 1/4 inch seam allowance. I just straightened out my edge a little bit right there. It was a little crooked. Down my seams here so they stay in the direction that we're trying to make them stay in. Toward the dark side. The bottom, and this is the top. I've opened up those seams. Now she says press the seams flat to set the seam. But she says now we got to make sure that the seams go toward the dark side, and we want them going in opposite directions. I want it to go toward this one here so it doesn't go into the white. So I'm just gonna hold my iron here and push that over. And this one, I want it to go in towards the red. Hold the side up that you want it to go towards. There, press that down flat. Now I've got this nice piece here with one seam going this direction and one seam here going this direction so they nest. Okay, I'm gonna watch Jackie's video again and see what's the next step. Okay, she says this bottom one up to the top, and we're gonna match up these seams. We've got a seam going this way and a seam going this way. It's gonna go right in like a puzzle there. That's locking the seam. See that? It just locks it right in place. And we'll put a pin right in where I just locked those seams together. All right, so then when we open this, you'll be able to see it matches perfectly at the point. It should lay nice and flat in there, okay? And then I'll start sewing right at the 1/4 inch. And just keep a line in your fabric up here. Before I come to my pin, I'll be pulling that out, holding my finger firmly on that. I want my seams to follow the way she said, so I want to make sure that they're going under the presser foot the right way. So I'm going to go slow so I don't mess that up. Oh, that's so pretty. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is turn the camera so I'm straight. Now I am going to set this seam, and I'll just sew right off on that one. Slow and steady wins the race. I'm always in a rush. I mean, my quilts come out pretty great. I have to stop and follow directions. In my own directions, anything goes. I say I don't follow pattern. What I realize is I follow my own pattern. She said that if we go into the back of our quilt here and we just take our finger and we smoosh that little seam down there, we take out one, I need to rewatch that. In the seam allowance, she said if we take our seam ripper and re-rip that, if we rip that one little seam out, all right, she said lay
this
down,
and just put your finger in there.
Put your finger in.
And swirl it.
Swirl it.
Just like that. Then you can press this way and this way. And this should lay flat.
Okay. And then it will lay nice and flat. Squishing that out, twirling it out. I would recommend watching her video, and she'll give you really good instructions at how to do that. And then I'm going to press this. Now she says, let's go to the next step. Take your back in and put your back in face down, so the pretty side would be down. You're going to take your batten and you're going to lay that right on top. Now she did square up her block already, and if you watch her video, she did hers before. She laid it on here, but she said you can do either. You can lay it down after you square up your to 12 inches, or you can just square up everything at once. I'm going to square up everything at once. So I'm going to lay this on top of my backing and my batten. I'm going to start quilting. She'll show you some techniques. If you like to use pins, you could pin this down. She used glue. You could put glue down. So there's multiple ways to do this. I'm just going to stick a couple of pins in here just to hold this in place while I'm quilting. What I did with the first block was I did straight line, but I did swervy. And I'm going to continue to use swervy lines throughout my quilt, I believe. So what I'll do is I'm going to start near the middle. I'll do one swervy line per strip. And then I'll come into the white, and I'll do the same thing. And I'll stop there, but I'll back stitch. And then I'll come up here and I'll just kind of echo it. No precision at all. So here's another thing, you guys. I've never done a quilt as you go. So here's my problem. I'm stopping and going and stopping and going. You can see all of my threads. So I definitely won't be doing that for future blocks here. I'm going to go from, you know, edge to edge because I don't want to have all these little threads popping up. So now we know. So I learned that about quilt as you go. Definitely I'm going to have to go edge to edge. Okay, the only thing I have left now is to square this up. And I need 12.5 inches. And can I do that? She says line my point right here. Put that at my 6 inches and then trim. I'm going to try that. Line myself up here at my 6 inches. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be able to trim that. Turn it around. Put my point and put my 1/2 inch mark over here to the side, and that looks like that's right on there all the way up. You can see I'm not very straight. That's okay. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do this. I don't think so. I'm just gonna line up my point. My point, you can see my squares are just too off. I'm gonna get it to the best and the closest that we can. Wow, look over here. What a mess. It's okay. Lining my 1/2 inch down here on my straight line. Might not even worry about that point so much. It's still pretty good. I'm calling it good because I think I'm gonna have to put a border over this because I'm not quite over. I can see that this got stuck underneath there. And then this side, 1/2 inch. And I'm gonna do these two sides. And I'm off there too. And I'm going to trim that off. Okay, well, this one didn't come with a template that I didn't do actual size. This one, I can just clearly see my sewing stitches are off. So, what I've discovered is, in my experience now, this is probably wearing this up. All right, guys, let's look at this. This is one block. I'm so off over here, and here, and here. Oh. I don't think I'm made for patterns. I think I'm made for my improv. All right, I'm gonna try my other block. But while I'm at it, let's just look at this. So here's one side, and I can put a little white over here, or I could wait and see if maybe what she's gonna have us connect these with will cover that, and that might. And I'll talk to her about that. But this one, remember I said I won't stop short when I'm doing quilt as you go because I have all my threads. So this block's just a mess. Okay, let's find the other block. All right, let's try block number 2. And this one I can see I am way off too. All right, let's see. So when she does this, she's like, oh, everything fits within her marks. Oh, let's see. That side looks good. Boy, this one I might be close on. Well, let's just do the sides. I'm gonna get rid of this. There's nothing there anyway, so that's gone. Okay, I'm gonna turn this all the way over because see if I can move this around enough. I could call it straight enough. And I think so. I'm gonna do it right there. All right, this is where I think we're gonna fall into a little problem on my sides. And the reason I think that is, look how much overhang I have here and here. So the red one has a lot and the blue one has a lot. So, my goodness gracious, what do I do now? I definitely didn't got those right. All right, that one's a practice too. I'm practicing. You know what I'm gonna do? I am going to leave these both alone, and I'm gonna keep up with my theme of putting my white border around it, then trimming it up. Just as I did on the other one, because I just can't seem to get it to the right size. But I'm so okay with that, you guys, and that's what our differences are. Some people are very, very slow and steady and get everything perfect and, you know, can really make things straight, and I just can't. I'm seeing that. So, I think I want to add white borders, and I'm going to own the fact that I followed along, I did everything I thought I was supposed to, and I'm still off. So I know 100% it is a me thing. Well, I knew it was a me thing. So I'm just going to cut out some more borders, and I'm going to border around both of these. I'm going to make some little 1-inch borders and border all the way around like I did the other ones. But it is fun. I am having a really fun time doing this. And I'm so happy that I am doing it. And that I'm learning a lot. I've always known that I'm a very improv quilter and a very wonky quilter. And you know, for me, I think that I really enjoy being that way. Because I just don't ever stress about anything. And I can't even cut a straight line. I can't even cut a straight line, apparently. Okay, I'm gonna bring this over, put my white little borders all the way around, and I'll show you when I'm done. Well, I've got that at 12 by 12, and it is off. And my little dot's not right in the center, but I've taken what I can off, and this is what it looks like. So, let's try the second one. I'm trying to get the same amount on all sides here. It's probably not going to come out perfect, but it's still going to look good. All right, I'm just going to go over to the sewing machine and I'm going to sew 1/8 of an inch all the way around. Okay, here's the 2 blocks that I made. They're very, very wonky. Jackie's were not wonky. Jackie's were very, very straight. What I've realized and what I've always known is that I'm a very wonky improv. I have a very hard time making my 1/4-inch seams. I just kind of go out on a whim and just start sewing. And now after I've made this second block, it's really starting to hit me like I just go off on my own. I really have a hard time to stay focused. I just get into it and I go any which way. So that's why you can see my seams are off. I'm not straight, but I've always claimed that that's how I am. And now I'm starting to really, really see how hard it is for me to stay on track. So that's okay. I stayed on track. I did it twice. I followed her. I started her video over and I did it for the second time. And I still had to add the borders because I was so off on my seams. Now, I know it was definitely my seams because you could see in the video every time I was off. So now I'm starting to wonder, how much time do I really want to spend? Do I want to just put my own version into this? And my own version is like following Jackie and doing exactly what she does, but mine are going to be wonky and improv. Kind of like coloring outside the lines, right? You know, we got to stay in the lines. And I realized that I just have a really, really hard time to do that. I'm having a lot of fun doing this with her, and it's really teaching me a lot. It's teaching me more than I've ever known about myself. It's teaching me how much I don't focus on things. Is that a bad thing? I don't think so. I think that's what makes all of us have all these differences in our techniques of sewing. I think it's really opening my eyes to saying what type of a quilter I really am. I'm having a really fun time learning this though. Even if that's all I get out of it, even if our quilts are gonna look totally different, I think that's gonna be fun in the end. So I'm gonna continue to do this, and every Sunday she puts out a new video, and I'm going to continue to do this. I'll be anxious to see how 20 blocks come out in the end. You might not know what type of a quilter you are at the moment, and if you can stay within the lines, if you can stay on track, it's great if you can. But you know, there's nothing wrong with not being able to. I'm never afraid of the quilt police because I already can. I'll tell you that I can't do it. The quilt police are real, and they're going to come after us. They're going to come after me, but that's okay too. Because you know what? That's why there's people on every level of sewing. I like to sew everything, anything. I fix everything, and I do a lot of just everyday stuff. So it's good enough for me. I'm not going to be in quilt shows. Maybe I will be. Maybe I'll be in an improv art quilt or something like that where I've just kind of gone out on my own. Thank you, Jackie. Thank you so much for letting me do this and following along with you. I'm so excited for the next block. Please go check out Jackie Lou's Junk Gal 63 studio. Follow along with her as well. If you're like a beginner and you're kind of trying to follow along with her pattern, you can follow along with both of us. I think that'll be fun. I'm just showing you, she's my teacher, and I'm just showing you how I'm doing in her class. This is how I'm doing. So if you can relate to this, please leave me a comment. If you're trying to learn how to do patterns as well, let me know. Let Jackie know that you're over on her site as well. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll be back next week with another video when she does block 3. I'm going to follow along, and I'm going to do block 3 as well. The reason I have 2 blocks here, I'm going to try to make 2 quilts with her quilt along. Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time. Remember to keep it simple. Have a great day. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Say bye, little Miss Ready Thready.